Hi everyone, and welcome to the Aquarius February 2022 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place to better connect and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. This reading is specifically meant to help you find the meaning in the challenges you are currently experiencing so that you can better understand why and the importance behind facing these challenges, overcoming them, and what Spirit would like you to unlock about yourself, your path, your purpose, and how your potential can actually be of greater service to the human collective experience. All right, Aquarius, so I'm going to jump right in here. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look first at your internal energy. So we have the Eight of Wands there. I'm going to pull a card for your external energy, the energy that Spirit would like you to engage this with in order to learn a lesson or discover something about yourself that you need to be aware of right now in this moment. So we have the Three of Pentacles, and at the bottom here, oh, beautiful. Okay, so this is a special deck. This is a, I always forget the name of it. Oh, it's the Centennial edition of the Smith-Waite tarot deck. And this specific edition has two unique cards that are outside of the regular, just standard tarot deck. And this is one of those. So this is a card to me that, as I work with this deck specifically, represents a similar energy to the Lover's card that comes out in the traditional tarot, but this takes it a step further. Where the original tarot, the Lovers can denote actually a choice made in love. It can actually focus on romantic love, of course, but there's kind of a larger, broader, overarching meaning and specific look at the energy of love with that card. This specifically to me in this deck pertains to romantic love. So there's something around romantic love that Spirit would like you to become aware of in facing a current challenge. So right now, the energy you're sitting with, Aquarius, is the Eight of Wands. This is a card of fast movement. It's a card of communication. It's a card that indicates things are picking up. This is when we actually make the decision to start to take action towards something. And in your external environment, this can be when things just around you pick up, meaning that you get a piece of information and suddenly things are shifting and moving forward. Let's say you were waiting for a job interview to come back and say yes or no, you're hired, and they suddenly come back and say yes. Well, now things are going to start changing. Things are going to start moving. You have to make that decision to leave your last place and move towards the new place. But when it's an internal energy, this is where we are internally getting those wheels moving, but more specifically, we are aligning our actions with who we are inside on an authentic level. We are communicating to ourselves in a way that is authentic to ourselves. We are understanding that inside of ourselves, there are things that we want to do, goals we want to achieve, and we are getting ourselves geared up to start to bring that energy and engagement into the external environment. And why is that? Because Spirit would like you to engage with this beautiful external energy. It is the Three of Pentacles, and it's all about building, but not just building something for the sake of building. It's building with an eye to a greater goal, a grander ideal. And it also speaks to building with others. So strongly here, Aquarius, whether or not this specifically is tying to romantic love in the way that this is a significant partnership, this could also be that kind of love between two family members or two friends that have a deep, what I would call soul connection, that there's something here that you're meant to realize that when you start to communicate and open yourself up and start to take action from all of the energy that's been currently building up within you, when you start to release that into your external environment, you're going to have the opportunity to start to build, and you're going to have the opportunity to start to communicate to others around you what you would like to build together. Meaning, let's say this is a romantic partnership. You are being asked by Spirit to bring out yourself, communicate from who you are. Start to take movement in the external environment based on the things you know you need to act on. And do so with an eye to communicate. Let's say you are with a current partner now. Communicate to that partner, I'd like to start putting things in place and taking action because I would love to build this ultimately with you. I am going to take action here because I ultimately want to save for a home, or I ultimately want to save so that we can get an RV and be able to drive around the country without having to worry about jobs or etc. And there's an element here that I'm getting very strongly, that there's a feeling of faith that all of this knowledge needs to come out, all this action that needs to take place. That when you start to communicate with others and you start to share this vision and you start to take the action steps to start to show others what this could look like, that there's faith that those others will come and support you and build this vision that you have. And it's all of a lesson to learn how to stay open and vulnerable and to trust the things that you feel deep within you. That when you feel the push to act, you feel the push to speak, you feel the push to really, I feel like you've kind of been disconnected for a while from the external environment, and you've been kind of sitting there with all these ideas and all this internal, it's almost like you have this internal, hamster wheel going, and you haven't yet connected it out here. And Spirit's saying, it's time. And it might actually either renew a connection with a romantic partnership, or it might show you where perhaps you've been blocking yourself from fully, with faith, leaning into the possibility of having this type of relationship somewhere in your life. Whether, again, this is opening yourself up vulnerably to a friend that you would love to start a business with, and this is a lifelong partnership that will grow something. In this image, these people, there's 3 of them here, and they are building a cathedral. And they're doing it together. And so there's that feeling of coming through with this, that you're being asked to realize now the beauty of connecting with another on a very deep level. Actually, it's very beautiful. Okay, I'm going to pull some cards now to see what are the challenges you are currently facing in doing so. Because I know it's easier said than done, right? It's like, oh yeah, just take action on your own behalf. State what you need to state. And it's like, okay, well, there's obviously parts of our experience that differ from others. So yes, you may want to start that business, but in the communication of that might mean that you are telling someone that you have to leave another job to start this business. And are you really ready to do that? There's all kinds of things that we want to express and feel the need to take action on, but we might not feel comfortable in having to take a look at the other things that are going to have to be released or possibly changed to make that happen. Okay, so we had the card of strength. Oh goodness, of course that would be the card right out the gate. Let's see. Card that brings in the energy of Leo, which is beautiful. What else does our Aquarius need to know? So strength, when it's in this challenge position, can mean that, so the strength and the Queen of Pentacles, and I'll keep pulling here. I usually try to get five or more cards. So strength in the challenge position is to know what, and I sigh because it's kind of hard to explain. We each know, yes, that there's strength needed to make a move, or there's strength needed in communicating from a place of authenticity. But where we can get kind of locked, locked in a place where we, instead of utilizing the beneficial quality of strength, knowing that I can be strong while also, and I think this is for me what this card always represents, I can be strong, but strong in a sense of grace, strong in a graceful way, meaning that sometimes we will mix up strength with having to push forward on something, or be strong in throwing something in somebody's face. And this card brings in the energy of realizing that sometimes the strongest thing we can do is to stay quiet, or to allow somebody else to kind of throw a temper tantrum or state their opinion, and we in turn hold ourselves quiet and hear them out, even though in our core of our being we want to argue with them, or we know somehow that they are wrong, but that there's this graceful component of allowing it to go, of allowing the other person to have this moment. But where this can become a detrimental, instead of it being a strength, can actually be kind of a weakness, and where it can hold you back is when you are too much in that side of grace and not enough in the strength, meaning that you're allowing others to run this aspect of yourself, that you are giving too much leniency to another, or holding yourself back from stating what you need to state to, sorry guys, a little distracted. That you're holding yourself back from being able to really, when somebody is stating something that you know is incorrect, or when somebody is kind of, let's say, directing how you work or how you're in the home life, and you just kind of keep going with it. This is where strength becomes a sticking point. This is where strength becomes that I'm tired of trying to explain something to somebody. I just don't want to do it anymore. So I'm just going to let them think what they need to think, or do what they need to do. And that can prevent us from being able to go out and nurture something that we really want to nurture, which is harnessed by the Queen of Pentacles, meaning that there's a quality with the Queen of Pentacles coming through of somewhere deep down inside, you know where you want to put your time and energy. You know what you want to nurture, but you're holding yourself back, thinking that you are being strong in almost like the strong and silent type, but you're doing it almost out of a place of I'm just going to quietly and strongly suffer, if that makes sense. I'm going to quietly suffer over here. And it's preventing you from being able to move towards taking action to nurture something you really want to bring into life that is ultimately going to be a part of your 10 of Pentacles down here. Now, the Three of Wands is a card of your ships coming in, so to speak. This is where we've taken action and we are waiting to see what comes back. What is the response from that action? What are the reactions? And this is the crux of your reading here, of your challenge. You're being asked to release this energy of waiting to see what comes back, and moving into the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands here is directly calling out your Eight of Wands internally. This is saying it's not about waiting anymore. It's not about wondering what's coming down the pipeline and, I put this out there and I tried this and I did this, and it's not about waiting anymore. What Spirit's telling you here is it's time for you to take action, and you to speak, and you to call in the ship you want to call in. This is almost like, instead of waiting for your ships to come in, this is running down to the dock and looking at the manifests and saying, I want that ship. And I don't care if any of my other previous actions are going to allow me to get on the ship or reap the benefits of what's coming in on the ship. I see now what I want in that ship, and I'm going to make every effort to go out there to meet it. Because your last point of challenge here is your 10 of Pentacles with the 6 of Pentacles. So there's this element here of facing what, and I'm getting a little bit of a regret almost, of like, the 10 of Pentacles represents our ideal level of abundance on the physical level that we hope for ourselves. This would be kind of what I like to call our legacy card. This is when you think of your life and ultimately what you'd like to achieve here on the physical plane. That's what the 10 of Pentacles denotes. And there's something here around being afraid to really lean into nurturing the first part of this and understanding what you really want, understanding it, but you're afraid that it might not balance out with the 6 of Pentacles. So this is your final note from Spirit to say, the law of the universe is that there is ultimately balance. That is what everything is kind of meant to achieve. That's why for every something that is dark, there is something that is light. For every something that is high, there is something that is low. Again, there's a tall person and there's a short person, and then there's a little tiny thing and a giant thing. And it's ultimately all balanced out. And the 6 of Pentacles reminds us that during times when we feel like we might have put so much energy in and we were not receiving anything back, to remember that that will balance out, and that it could be a few years down the line, but you will still end up getting what you felt you maybe weren't successful in achieving at the time. It will come back to you. And the same thing, there are times when maybe we feel like all this kind of stuff is just coming in for us and it's wonderful, and then a few years down the line, it's the reverse, and we have to be reliant on others. And that's the beauty of this card. It shows that sometimes throughout our life, we will be in a position to give to others. And sometimes there'll be points in our life where we have to be receptive and allow others to give to us. But that ultimately, that will always balance out. And that where there may be perhaps this fear coming through of, I know what I want, I know I have not achieved my 10 of Pentacles, but I'm afraid that possibly maybe where I've tried to nurture something in the past, it was not, the amount of energy and time I put into something was not, it did not come back to me. It did not feel equal. And that this is now Spirit coming in to say, it's not about just kind of staying strong and silent. It's not about resigning yourself to something in your life that probably, or that maybe has not gone in the way that you wanted, or resigning yourself to this is the way it is, or this project I have that I want to take action on will never be, or I can't say this out loud because every time I say it, it never goes anywhere. It only gets me a bad response. And so I'm just going to resign myself and not take action. And I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait and just see. I tried this at one point. I tried that at one point. And come on, Spirit's got to bring me something. And this is saying, you can feel that way. And you can still keep yourself open to possibilities, but you're being asked to take action now. And to take action from releasing everything that's internal and releasing it out there. Because yes, you know in your heart of hearts what you want your legacy to be. And it's time now for you to realize that the scales are balancing in your favor, and it's time to go out there and take what's being given to you to start to build towards this new ideal for yourself. What is your hope and dream and wish for your 10 of Pentacles? And what's beautiful is that when you start to take action from that place and you start to communicate from that place, this will get built. You will attract the right person, or if you already have somebody in your life, they might finally see what you see, and they'll be right there beside you to say, wow, I didn't realize this is what you wanted to do. Or they might surprise you and say, I've been waiting for you to make a move on this. I've been waiting for you. Let's do it. So, beautiful message, Aquarius, about stepping into your personal power, not being afraid to take action, not being able to speak from a place of personal empowerment, and it's time to move towards your legacy. It's not about resigning yourself to this might not happen. It's about going out there and pushing yourself towards it, so that whatever you want to leave behind, whether it's a beautiful book, it's a family, it's a business that employs many different people, or whether it's just an abundant lifestyle, that there's something here that you have not achieved and you've been waiting for it, and until you take action, it won't come to be. Okay, Aquarius, let's go ahead. I'm going to now pull a card for for curiosity, courage, and contemplation, where we're going to actually engage the Triad of Engagement, which is a coaching tool I use that focuses on these 3 principles and shows how when you utilize the power of each one of these principles, you can effortlessly re-engage your authentic self with your external environment to better improve your life experience. We're also going to utilize these to take what is a very general reading and be able to individualize it for yourself, so that you can ask these questions and keep these points in mind and actually apply them yourself to your own individual life experience. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull a energy oracle card here for the concept of curiosity, and this is going to be what Spirit would like you to stay open and aware of. Because there's something here that you are kind of pushing away awareness of, meaning curiosity is meant to help us break through those barriers of, well, been there, done that, learned that lesson, and it's never going to happen. And instead it's allowing us to say, no, let's just clear the way here and allow us to see something that Spirit would like us to see from a fresh perspective, with the eyes of a curious and optimistic child. So we have Goddess of the Moon, and it's number 52, breaking down to a 7. And this card is all about intuition, which is beautiful. So there's something here about where Spirit would like you to stay curious for the month of February as to your intuition specifically, and where perhaps let's see, how can I say this? The Moon card in the tarot, I always like to look at as a card that represents us walking a path on faith, because we are being called up by the divine to leave a comfort zone. And even though we have faith because we hear the call, it's scary, because what we see, in front of us is kind of only being seen in moonlight. It's not clear. There are shadows and we can misread those signs. But the beauty of this card specifically lets us know that our intuition is always there to guide us, that even in the most confusing and dark times, we can go within and have a direct connection to Spirit to be able to feel and truly see the way forward through the eyes of Spirit. So there's something here about being curious and open to where you may feel a little lost, or where you feel you might not quite see everything yet. You don't quite know where your communication is going to go. You don't quite know in the action steps you take exactly what's going to happen. But you're willing to stay open to what Spirit is going to kind of give you as a point of guidance, almost like saying, look over here, do this next. That there's this feeling of almost like kind of falling in sync with Spirit through your intuition, that as you're starting to take quick forward movement, that it's almost going to be like, okay, here comes the call, here comes the email, here comes this opportunity, and it's all just going to kind of line up, and you're just going to go with it. But you have to stay curious about that, because what I would say is this is really about being curious as to where you feel like you want to kind of come to a place of control, kind of pull back from taking action or speaking because you're not sure of the outcome, because you're not sure if you basically expend this energy, if it's going to be reciprocated or if it's going to actually get you closer to this. And I'd say, if you feel called to do it, go ahead, and then keep your eye open, and through your intuition, through your feelings, be ready to be guided towards the next steps, to be able to see the bigger picture for what you're going to be building with others. Okay, so I'm going to get a card here for the Power of Surrender card for the concept of courage. And this is where Spirit would like you to be aware of either where to take courage or a point to keep in mind as you're having the courage to take action. So where would Spirit like you to take action for the month of February? And as you can tell here with strength coming in, you guys are well acquainted with the courage it takes to take action on your own behalf, even in the small things. That's really where the magic in our lives come from, is our ability to make the right decisions on our own behalf in every action we take, not just the large ones. It says, surrender to success. Oh, such a beautiful card. It says, you are ready to experience abundance. Don't look back at previous roadblocks or difficulties. Leap into an exciting new world of possibilities. And this is exactly what I feel coming through this whole message, is there's this leaping, this quality of moving forward. But you know, the one card I don't see out is the Fool. So this really tells me that this is not going out there on a new cycle, meaning that this is all just, oh, I gotta start fresh and I gotta start from square one. That this is something that's been building. When I see the Three of Pentacles, that means there's already been a foundation laid. They're already building on top of something. And it's about taking what you know you want to dedicate your time and energy towards and taking that pentacle to out here, to grow it into 3 and grow it into 4 and grow it into 5 and eventually grow it into the 10 of Pentacles. And when you're thinking about taking action this month, every time you have this fear of, I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I don't know if I put all this energy into something, am I going to actually get something back for it? Am I actually, if I state this, am I actually going to get a reaction from people that's beneficial? Or am I going to be looked at as a freak, so to speak? Or am I going to push away something that I actually really want to move towards? And what Spirit's saying is to remember, surrender to success. Spirit would not be asking you to do this now and to open up vulnerably to those who are meant to be in connection with you in this divine energy of love if it wasn't meant to benefit both yourself and to be able to allow you to start to move towards your highest potential, but also in doing so benefit others at the same time. Beautiful. Okay, and now I'm going to pull a final card here for the concept of contemplation, and this is a final point that Spirit would like you to keep in mind as you're moving through the month. And when you're feeling a little lost or you're kind of questioning yourself, to stop and contemplate and reflect and integrate this energy or message into your experience. This is kind of where in contemplation we get to hold ourselves accountable for reflecting on where we took action, as well as the consequences that came from those actions. So the direct result. This keeps us engaged in the present with what we are doing and how we have the ability to actually have some type of control in our lives through where we choose to take action and where we can continually adjust our actions in seeing, maybe I didn't quite get the response or the consequence I wanted, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to tweak my actions a little bit. Let's see, what does Aquarius need to know for a point of contemplation for the month of February? And I didn't get to say it earlier, but happy birthday to all the Aquariuses out there. I have one of my brothers is an Aquarius and his stepson is an Aquarius, which is wonderful. I love the Aquarius energy. I think I naturally affiliate with Aquarians because I have my South Node in Aquarius. And so it's kind of a default mode of mine to fall back into your energy. I also have a lot of air in my chart, so I do love to converse with Aquarians. I can see kind of where your connections come from. All right, so we have two right here. We have Keepers of the Earth. It says, you are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. And it says Lemuria, creating heaven on earth, it's happening. So two wonderful messages to come out here to keep as points of contemplation, to understand that you are never alone on your journey, and that there are always those who, whether you believe you can directly tie into spirits or ghosts of ancestors, or whether there's a feeling simply of you can take the lessons of your family and the lessons learned from your familial history, so to speak, and to bring those forward. That maybe somebody in your family was not able to ever achieve what you wanted to achieve, and by achieving this now, you actually elevate your entire family line. There's something that is coming through strongly about this here. And with the creating heaven on earth, I think this is for you what Spirit would like you to realize, that in you taking action, you are helping to not only elevate all of the collective human experience, but you're also getting yourself closer to your vision of heaven, to the lasting legacy that you would like to live into, because it is a vision for you of heaven on earth. And so keep that in mind as you're moving through the rest of this month. Kind of either the idea of knowing that you're not alone. So when you feel like maybe you're the only person in the world that sees this vision, and that there's nobody who's possibly ever going to be able to love you for that, or stating that out loud, or taking action towards it, have faith that Spirit would like you to realize that's not the case. There is somebody out there for everybody, and that you are being asked to be yourself, take action authentically for and on your own behalf, and that is what's going to allow you to connect beautifully with these souls that are meant to be there in a sense of love. I'm trying to think of a way to explain this. It's like sometimes I get these messages and it's very hard for me to vocalize them here. That there's this element of understanding that as you're creating for yourself what you would like to experience for yourself and the vision you have for yourself, that you will bring in the right people who also have part of this as their path, and that will allow you to experience deep emotional connection in this romantic way. When I talk about romantic way, yes, this could definitely be a deep romantic partnership. This could be the deepening of an already existing romantic partnership. This could also be something like going into business with somebody who will ultimately become that lifelong friend, that you'll realize at a certain part in your life that yes, you may have blood ties to your family, but this person is more family to you than even your own family, if that makes sense. And that's the beauty of this whole message here, is that you're going to discover that in moving towards something on your own behalf, you're going to bring in those souls that are meant to share that experience with you on a very intimate level. All right, what a wonderful reading, Aquarius. I'm excited for Aquarius season for all of us, because this is such a beautiful message. So I hope you all have a wonderful February. If you would like to illuminate your own personal spiritual importance and to see how it can be of service to yourself and others, you can click on the link in my description box below to book a personal tarot reading or a one-on-one coaching session. And otherwise, I will have the mid-month readings released after the 15th. And I look forward to seeing you again in March. But again, happy birthday to all my Aquariuses. I hope you have a wonderful month.